A climax of everything, this retrogressive Barbie, you realize he was deceiving up Cash. She's in the front seat of my Rolls-Royce Ferrari. And you realize, I mean ridiculously, Kevin Tracker thought he had played his ex, Wendy Williams, when he pulled off cheating in her Cash, yet it turns out he was off-base Wendy Williams, thought she had hitched her first love, yet as destiny would have it, she had quite recently hitched a lying duping gold digger who needed to take advantage of her for her cash and popularity, despite the fact that she went through a lot of hardship in the wake of learning about her better half's treachery. And paying him support after their separation, she at last ended up as the winner and uncovered Kevin and his paramour. For who they truly were, she plotted an astonishing plan to make them pay. And it is a wild one. I sort of feel frustrated about you goodness. No doubt, better believe it. For the beyond 35 years, Wendy Williams had surprised the media world, ruling the radio business for almost 30 years and later, prevailing upon the hearts of millions on her daytime syndicated program. The Wendy Williams Show, yet things haven't gone as flawlessly in her own existence, with her managing her significant other's unfaithfulness in 2017. Everybody was stunned when news broke that Williams' significant other Kevin Tracker was having a twofold existence, participating in a mystery long-haul undertaking with a more youthful back rub specialist. Kevin had been seeing Sharina Hudson for over 10 years at the time in what ultimately turned into a staggering blow for his significant other of north of 20 years Tracker, who dealt with his television star spouse's vocation and ran a creation organization that they mutually possessed, was supposed to be enamored with the two ladies, and was shuffling his opportunity to oblige date them. Both Wendy had developed her profession from the beginning, battled for quite a long time, procuring each and every penny, through hard work, just for her unloyal husband, to spend it on one more lady, since he had no work and remaining of his own, and was completely subject to his wife for accommodating them. But it was her cash that he was spending to ruin his escort. Kevin thought he was effectively deceiving Wendy, yet much to his dismay, that Wendy was at that point onto him. She has a point, she's a symbol, she's a legend. And she is the second. During a meeting on Sirius XM's The Jess Kegel show, the moderator said her ex was a chronic miscreant and guaranteed she had some awareness of his issues, nearly starting from the start of their 25-year relationship. The more fruitful I got, and he got, and we trusted in one another, the to a greater degree a jerk he became. During a similar meeting, she proceeded to make sense of how her significant other utilized her well-deserved cash to pay for his paramour's extravagant way of life. Wendy ventured to such an extreme as to concede that she permitted it to go on as long as Kevin annoyed no children with Sharina. In spite of this, Kevin didn't have sufficient disgrace to respect this. Kevin figured he would pull off this, yet Wendy had different plans. She thusly sought legal separation in April and began a progression of occasions that totally obliterated Kevin's life and profession. She needed to get back at Kevin for putting a hit on her, so that is precisely exact thing she did. Just after the separation, she cut attaches with her alienated husband, Kevin Tracker, both by and expertly. It's hard subsequent to being hitched for such a long time and having a family together to have the option to push ahead, yet she understood she needed to wake her up to a terrible marriage. So many stick around when they ought to get out. Tracker's supposed undertaking had been happening for most of his union with Williams. Wendy is telling individuals she had no clue he had been having an illicit relationship, yet when she figured out the subtleties, it turned out he had been seeing the lady he had a child with for 15 to 16 years. The source guarantees that caused her to acknowledge the time had come to push ahead with her life, look for therapy, and continue on. She's not taking him back. Just after Wendy cut off Kevin's revenue source and removed his secret weapon, his profession spiraled into blankness. Almost 3 years after Williams and Tracker separated from Kevin, Tracker was purportedly destitute thanks to Wendy's splendid arrangement to open him to the world. Kevin's whole arrangement depended after guaranteeing that he didn't lose his type of revenue, by proceeding to gather provision installments from Wendy yet the network program have pursued a progression of splendid monetary choices that cut off Kevin's cash supply. Wendy disappeared from her work long enough for her to be shot, notwithstanding her agreement being suspended. Wendy, likewise, had every one of her records frozen in January following cases. She was being made the most of it was accounted for that her child ran up more than $100,000 on her Amex card. It is conceivable that Wendy concocted this arrangement with her child to ensure her records are frozen, so Kevin can't get any cash from her. Anything that the explanation this plan certainly worked by a report from news sources. Court Arquez expressed that Tracker's month-to-month provision installments finished in February 2022. Tracker requested that the court request Williams gatekeeper to make installments as legally expected under the MSA and severance arrangement. Tracker said in the documenting, he is in such desperate waterways that he is confronting dispossession. I have fallen behind on a large portion of my bills. I at present live locally that expects installments to the property holder's affiliation, and I'm behind on that bill on the off chance that the property holder's affiliation charges are not paid. Abandonment will before long follow. He proceeded with my vehicle insurance hasn't been paid because of not getting month-to-month severance installments. I'm behind on MasterCard installments. Since I have no cash since the severance installments were suspended, my life has been enormously impacted since the offended party quit going with installments under our repayment arrangement. Williams' lawyer answered in a court documenting by saying she has not had a pay since her television show finished on October 15th of 2021. Offended party was educated by Takwa that her policy was being suspended and that no remuneration will build or be payable to offended party for the span of offended party's handicap and inadequacy. Furthermore, the lawyer expressed by their separation understanding on the off chance that the television show finished. So could his divorce settlement if under any condition offended party's policy with Tapuo isn't recharged or potentially is generally suspended, dropped, or ended, an offended party has no other network show being broadcasted, and paying her a comparable compensation. Litigant comprehends and concurs that all severance installments will be likely to one or the other end or change. By doing this, Wendy revealed the monstrous side of Kevin and his side chick, in addition to the fact that he betrayed his better half and utilized her well-deserved cash to pay for his paramour's lavish way of life. Yet he additionally deserted his own child with Wendy to father another with a lady beyond his marriage. This sickening truth just became known because of Wendy's endeavors. Click on one of the two recordings on your screen at this moment.